Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie, and good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm in mainland Spain. It is exactly midday, 12 o'clock, as I'm making this video. Might not be that time as it's going out because I'm recording it, and I'm going to probably put it on as a live or, that I can join in with a live or what do you call it, premiere. You can see me okay, can't you? Yeah, so beautiful day here in Spain. I noticed the sun came out yesterday for Keir Starmer to go into 10 Downing Street. That's got to be a sign, no umbrella needed. It all feels so much more positive already as far as I'm concerned, looking at the cabinet, the new cabinet, proper people who are like experienced in what it is they've been chosen to specialise in, sensible people, not just giving your mates a job, even though they know nothing about it and they're going to cock it up. Anyway, no more talk about politics. It's all good. It's all positive. It's only just started. We've got to see what they actually do now, haven't we? And then see what happens maybe 3 months from now. Might be moaning about them then. You never know. I don't think so, though. I've got a feeling. Okay, also just want to say thank you, everyone who watches my videos, everyone who has liked my videos, all my members, of course, special thanks to them. Anyone who's bought me a Ko-fi, sent me a PayPal or sent me a super sticker of any kind or sent me an email, left a positive comment. Thank you to all of you who contribute towards my channel in one way or another. It makes all the difference to me and it helps me to continue with the channel. And if you enjoy my content and you haven't subscribed already, please think about subscribing and liking the video because it's free and it's just a way that makes me feel good about my channel, but also it helps the channel grow. Okay, let's take the banner off now. So we're talking about Jay this morning. It's hard to get a day where we don't talk about Jay, isn't it? Until he's found, till there's some resolution one way or another. Now, I'm going to be doing some housekeeping throughout this video as well, talking about my Spanish classes only briefly here and there. And also the book that about my life that's on Amazon, because I very rarely do that these days. And of course, it's still important for me to maintain, an income. I know people think you're rich if you're on YouTube. You're not, and you don't make loads of money from YouTube unless you, really got a massive channel. So I hope you'll sort of sit through them, fast forward through them if you've seen them before, chat amongst yourselves or, go and make a cup of tea. But it's important to think of it as like the adverts on the telly. And some of you might be interested in Spanish classes or buying the books about Spanish or buying the book that tells people about my life in Manchester. I was born in Manchester on a council estate. I've had nothing given to me. I've had to work for everything throughout my life. And you're born, I think if you're born on a council estate, you can go one or two ways. When I say it's not just because you're born on a council estate, I don't want to be sniffy about council estates, because there are good things on council estates as well. It can be a sense of community, etc. But the thing is, sometimes people can go the wrong way, get in with the wrong crowd. Maybe that's what happened to Jay. I don't know, when he got involved in that sort of machete gang attack. Did he just go the wrong way? Sometimes people do, and then some people go a different way. And I was lucky enough to be brought up when we did have a Labour government before. People think that politics aren't important. But if it wouldn't have been for having a Labour government and being able to go to university and not have to pay fees, because my parents couldn't have paid them, I wouldn't have been able to get a degree. I probably would never have been able to come out to Spain. I would never have been able to write my books. I feel very grateful to experiencing Labour government in my life. And I'm hoping that this can all be turned around again for other young people to feel hope. It's important to feel hope for my son, for my son's children. Very important to feel hopeful. not feel there is no hope. Okay, so the things I'm going to be talking about today, as far as Jay's concerned, is, of course, yesterday, the Spanish police apparently gave the okay, if you like, to Jay's family to tell them that if they wanted, they could use the GoFundMe to bring in private searchers. They would, that they were okay with it. And then there was this furore, people saying, oh, they're going to bring in the mountain police from Britain, or or they're going to bring mountain rescue in, or the police in, or I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's a very good idea to use private searchers, hiking groups, people that are experienced in that terrain. I think that they have been helping up to now, planning out routes, because most of these areas, the terrain where Jay has gone missing, if he is there, again, it all comes down to what you believe. Some people don't think he is there. Some people think he's come to foul play, but it's still important to search these areas. And you never know, something might come up. They may find Jay, or they may find some of his belongings, or that is the last time he was heard from, for all we know, as far as we know. So it's an important area to be searched. So yeah, why not use the GoFundMe for that? I mean, at the end of the day, talking of the GoFundMe, we will just have a look at that. I like to keep an eye on it. They are entitled to use the GoFundMe for whatever they want, because it's their GoFundMe. And as I always say, and I'll say it again, if you didn't contribute, it's none of your business what they do with it. And if you did contribute and you want your money back, just ask for a refund. So yeah, 50,000, just over 50,000 now. So remember, there was a bit of a flurry on there. A furore on there, because Debbie had said that she was using it to help Paul Arnott. So we're going to look at his latest post. And also to help Callum Rahim, who then he said that caused a big thing, because he then said he wasn't being helped. Anyway, it turns out he was helped. He was given £746 at least from the family, probably to cover his flights and accommodation. He said he wasn't helped with essentials, but what does he mean by essentials? Because food, he was having a little moan about food, but he would have had to buy food if he was in the UK. If he'd never gone to Tenerife, what would he have just lived on? Wotsits? Said he's living on Wotsits and appetizers. Is that what he would have lived in the UK? I mean, they've paid his flight and his accommodation, so his food he would have had to pay for if he was in the UK. So maybe that's what he always eats and drinks. Anyway, that's come off the GoFundMe now. They've taken that statement off there, though he has admitted that they did send him the £700 and odd. So let's forget that now. My thoughts on it. GoFundMe's just caused nothing but problems. But they have given Paul Arnott, I know, food and mountain climbing gear, etc. And because he has said that. So, and essentials that he needs. So who knows what they've taken him, but he has acknowledged that. Yeah, he's got nothing but good things to say about the family, so he's not slagging the family off, that's for sure. So they'll probably carry on helping him. I think they are paying other groups, like hiking groups, etc. So we'll just see who else they bring in to help to search. I mean, the police have now said they've stopped searching. And that doesn't mean to say they'll probably never search again, but they've stopped that massive search that they did right in the, in the first 2 weeks. I mean, they searched intensively. They brought dogs from Madrid. I mean, there's a limit to how, there's other missing people as well. There's a limit to how long you can go on searching, isn't there? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that Jay's friends have come out, a bit angry, like because of people saying they're drugs mules and without any evidence. Again, I mean, I've seen that obviously on social media, and maybe they are, I don't know, but I don't see, nobody has shown me any evidence that they're drugs mules, except that Lucy's had a lot of holidays. If in fact those are true, And I don't, and also don't think it matters. I don't think, my personal opinion, it's nothing to do with Jay going missing. Of course, it all got even more complicated when it turned out that the two men that he went to the Airbnb with, one of them has got a criminal history for drugs and a 9-year sentence that he got. So that's not just for a few joints. He was supposed to have had a plan to flood Wales with drugs. Why Wales, I don't know, because he lives in London or somewhere, but anyway, or Luton or wherever he lives. So why Wales came into it, I don't know, but it was supposed to be a sophisticated plan. Can't have been too sophisticated because he got caught. And it was supposedly to flood Wales with Class A drugs. Anyway, he was caught. He got a 9-year sentence. I don't know how much he served of those 9 years. And so he has got drug connections, obviously. So it could be suspicious. And there's all the fuss about the Rolex watch or the Rolex drugs, or it's one rabbit hole after another with this case. And because nothing official is coming out from the police or even the family, really, they're not commenting on those sort of things because they've probably been told by the police not to comment on them. We can't find out the truth of those kind of things, can we? Okay, so we're going to look at that. And then we're going to look at a case of another man who, seems to, Michael Grant, who's an Irish tourist who was in Magaluf, which of course is mainland Spain, and he just dropped dead on the street. And now some things have come out that are mysterious in his death. Now, the one thing I want to look at this because I think it's important, but I do just want to say what we have got to be careful of is when one thing happens like this that's happened to Jay. Well, in fact, it started really, didn't it, with the TV presenter Michael Mosley going missing. And then for a few days before his body was found. Then the attention then is concentrated on tourists in these in holiday places that things happen to. Things probably happen to tourists over and over again. I mean, that we know that they do, and they don't get reported on. But the high-profile case of Michael Mosley, which was high-profile because he was a TV presenter, he was famous. Maybe Jay's case wouldn't have got that much attention, would it, if by the mainstream media? Because it takes the mainstream media to report on it, doesn't it? Then someone like me, I saw it the very first day. It attracted my attention because it was Spain, even though it's Tenerife rather than mainland Spain. But because he's from Lancashire, I've got a son who's not that much older than him. Those kind of things. That then triggers the interest, and then it just sort of took off because of all the mystery concerned with it. I'm sure if Jay would have been found on the second day, third day, it would not have developed into this kind of story that it's developed into. It's because the longer it goes on without any answers of what's happened to Jay, and without any, no press conference from the police, no official confirmation of anything, it's just going to get worse and worse until Jay is actually found, or what happened to Jay, whatever happened to Jay, comes to light, isn't it? So before we just start looking at Paul Arnott's videos about, hey guys, it's madness, guys, the British police are coming out to search guys. Before we start looking at that video, I just want you to take a little moment just to see this little video, just in case you're interested in learning Spanish. If you're not interested in learning Spanish, you've seen this video, go make a cup of tea. It's only a couple of minutes. Hola, soy Vicki. And are you wanting to learn Spanish? Have you been trying to learn Spanish and it's just you can't put the words together? Common thing that people say to me is, I know a lot of words, but I just can't put a sentence together. So I'm here to tell you how you can learn Spanish through English. Learn how to make sentences, not phrase book Spanish. Learn how to ask questions, answer questions. right from beginner or whatever level you are. If you're struggling in putting it all together, there'll be a level I can offer you a solution. So I've been teaching Spanish for over 20 years to English-speaking people. And these are the books that I have written. Break the Language Barrier Level 1 for beginners. Level 2 for intermediate or sort of pre-intermediate. Level 3 intermediate. Level 4 upper intermediate. And level 5 for advanced. There's really level 5 is to practice what you've already learned. So if you've already learned a lot of Spanish, but you want some practice with translations, conversation practice, games, etc., level 5 is for you. If you know more than level 1, in other words, you know how to already speak in the present tense, if your grammar has gone past the present tense but you're struggling with the past tenses, level 2 is the book for you. All these books are available on Amazon. Any Amazon, wherever you are in the world that you want to learn Spanish, you can order one of my books from Amazon. The other thing you can do, you may be interested in Zoom classes. I've left my contact details here on the video so that you can WhatsApp me or email me if you want to know about Zoom classes and how they work. So, yeah. If you want if you're interested in the books, they're available on any Amazon site. And if you're interested in Spanish classes, please drop me an email and I'll send you the details. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is our old friend, Paul Arnott. Now, you know, a lot of people, well, I say a lot, a couple of people have put messages on my videos and saying, oh, you shouldn't show Paul's videos and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the one thing I've got to say about Paul, I don't think he's a real searcher or a real mountain expert, or I don't believe that. But he has been very useful. His videos have been really useful in looking at the place that we're, you know, that where Jay has gone missing, the terrain, you know, giving us some idea of what's going on there and that. So, yeah, I don't believe he's some mountaineering expert. He's a TikToker. Nothing wrong with being a TikToker. You know, I hate all this sniffiness about TikTokers. People go on TikTok. People like watching TikTok videos. If they didn't like watching them, people wouldn't make them. So, you know, they're just filling a niche, if you like, that people like. If you don't want to watch his TikTok videos, don't watch them. You know, don't see, you know, he's doing whatever he's doing. You've got to always be, what's the word, whenever you watch anyone on TikTok, YouTube, you know, and it's not only him, lots of YouTubers and TikTokers say ridiculous things. And, you know, you've got to watch that and realise that they're saying something. You've got to not take everything on social media as gospel, just the same on TikTok as Facebook or Twitter or my channel, whatever. You make your mind up, but we can't criticise him for doing his thing. He's doing his thing. Good for him, you know, and I have found his videos useful and sometimes entertaining in the wrong way, of course, especially when he lost his sunglasses, his phone, and broke his sunglasses, lost his phone and his keys, and he's the search guy. You know, there's sort of an unconscious humour there that just appeals to my sort of dark sense of humour. But let's have a look at his latest videos, because again, it was, you know, he sort of makes me laugh, but it's the wrong way of making someone laugh, I suppose. Because yesterday he put this video on. So actually, he put this video on just after I'd done a live. So I come off and saw this. And it's all good, you know, big news, guys. Big news, guys. Big announcement.
Police out
I need to go.
They have just publicly announced that they are willing to receive help from UK authorities, which includes mountain rescue guys and the police themselves. Now, I did have a little incline of this happening. I did hear through the grapevine that something like this may be happening today. So this morning, the first thing I did when I woke up was I put in my own request to Scottish police to come out, guys, and for mountain rescue.
So he's put in his own request to Scottish police and mountain rescue to come out. you know, it's quite sweet, really. Sometimes I wonder if there is some sort of issues here because, you know, with the best will in the world, are the police, the Scottish police and the Mountain Rescue, going to come out because Paul has asked them to? It looks like he's had a little haircut, doesn't he, and a beard trim. So don't know where he's had that done. He must have gone to Los Americanos, because he's been very quiet on social media. We haven't seen any searching the last couple of days. He's got his gear on there. He's like got the mountain behind him, but we haven't seen any actual searching. Anyway, he's asked Mountain Rescue and police to come out.
So fingers crossed, guys. This is the move that we really need to get the ball moving. As we go along, as I get updates, I will keep you guys updated as well as much as possible. But this is a really big thing. This is something that we really need to get done. Now, there's a certain area where, you know, if Jay's going to be anywhere, guys, he's going to be in this one area. It's the area where his phone last pinged. It's a really vast place.
Well, so obviously then that's where it needs to be searched. I'm sure the hikers that are helping out the family, you know, they need to sort of map out that area, don't they, and make sure they start from one bit of it. I'm sure this is what they're doing. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. It makes sense to me, and I'm sure they know better than me what to do. But that's what you do, isn't it? You make an area, divide it into sections, search them one by one, and then go back to the beginning and search them again. Really, that's what you would do, because you can always, you know, it's so difficult looking for a body. It's not an easy thing. Look how long it took them to find Michael Mosley's body, and he was literally just next to the cafeteria. You know, it's just not an easy thing.
And I don't know, I just feel it's such a big area, guys. I just feel like that if I was going anywhere, that's the area. So if we can get all their help and support out here for him.
What does he mean? If I was going anywhere, that's the area. Well, I thought you were going somewhere. Do you know this one? He's not searching, is he? Bless him. He's there and he's taking these videos, and it's useful information for us. But you know, that just says it all. If I was searching anywhere, that's where I'd go. Well, he's supposed to be searching.
The relevant authorities, all these competent people. It will just be amazing. It'll be amazing. Obviously, I can tell them guys what I've been doing and show them, and you know, just work together as a massive team. And fingers crossed, we're going to find Jay. But just a quick update. Big love to everyone. So guys, as you may or you may not know, the police out here have just publicly announced that they are willing to receive help from UK authorities, which...
So that was the big announcement. Well, I don't think the police exactly said that. What they said was to the family that if they wanted to bring in private searchers, they could, but they would have to know all about it as well. You know, that you know, I think what the police have said, they're happy for them to bring in private searchers as long as they're kept in the loop, you know, of what's going on. Then just after, literally just a couple of hours after making that video, because that was, did it say what time? No, it doesn't say a time, I don't think. He made another one. So now
everybody know that the Spanish authorities over here had said that they were open to search and rescue teams coming out here to Tenerife. And I did mention that maybe the police would be interested in coming out. And it'd be really good if we can get them on board. Thinking about this, guys, it's probably not going to happen. I have had like a really big think about this. And although...
Oh, he's had a big think about it. But really what's probably happened is the police have replied to him and sort of said no. But no, he's had a big think about it, and he's changed his mind.
We are going through certain channels to try to get mountain rescue out here, going through different police channels. The actual chances of the police sending out their own search and rescue team for this sort of terrain is unlikely. I think I was just being quite optimistic there. And that is something that...
He was just being quite optimistic. Well, really what he was doing is trying to pretend as if he's got any control over it whatsoever, because he hasn't. Because, bless him, his heart's in the right place, probably. But, you know, he is not the boss of Mountain Rescue or the police in any country.
Right now, at this current moment in time, guys, it's just not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. Fingers crossed we'll be able to bring mountain rescue out here. We'll see what happens. Of course, it's going to depend on other things as well, like costs and all different things, guys, all different things. But fingers crossed, we are going to make some progress. We'll see what happens over the next few days. And I'll keep you guys updated like always. Let's end the evening on a beautiful positive note as well. Let me show you Masca, guys. Down here, you've got where the sea is.
Then suddenly it sort of turns into almost like a holiday video. It's really quite bizarre, isn't it? You know, because probably this area that he's panning out to is probably where Jay is somewhere, bless him. It's really quite bizarre and surreal, isn't it? 1 minute it's talking about searching for Jay, and then the next minute it turns into a bit of a holiday blog. One
of the many ridges, the clouds are quite low. And a beautiful sun as well, guys. Absolutely stunning.
Stunning, guys.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So earlier, guys, I put out a video just letting everybody know that the Spanish authorities over here had said that they were open.
So there you go. That's his. So he made one video saying that he was hoping he'd contacted the police and the mountain rescue to ask them to come out. And then he followed it up with another video saying, oh, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And as far as I know, so far today, which is Saturday, if you're whenever you're watching this, it's today is Saturday the 6th of July. He hasn't made any videos yet this morning, so I don't know if he's out searching. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, so then another sort of development in the J case, of course, is now his friends have come out and said, saying about us, we're not drug mules. People are saying things about us with no evidence, etc. Which, I've got to say, I do agree with. People have been saying this right from the beginning, and maybe maybe they are. Oh, Lucy's under investigation. We don't know that for sure. No, the police have not said that. So why should we say it? We don't know that Lucy's under investigation. How would we like to be said that we were under investigation for being a drug mule? When we weren't. Even if we were, we wouldn't like it. So I do agree with them. So I've lost the. Sorry, I just want to find, so. Okay. So this is an article in the Daily Mail. Slater's friend says we ain't drug mules as missing 19. Sorry, let me try and put this down. As missing 19-year-old's mother issues an update on day 20 of the Tenerife search. So Jay Slater's friend has insisted they are not drug mules as the search for the missing 19-year-old nears the end of its third week. So as conspiracy theories and fake videos have swirled around on social media, Brad Hargreaves, who went on holiday to Tenerife with Jay and described him as his best mate, has tried to set the record straight. After flying out to the island for the 3-day Energy Music Festival, Mr. Hargreaves said he's experienced vile trolls on social media. Thinking I'm involved in it all is beyond me, he said. We've been friends for years. We came on our first holiday together, and unfortunately this has happened. We're not drug mules or whatever. People need to know the facts before talking shit on the internet. And of course, he had that interview with Isla Traquair, which we've looked at. And, who knows? I mean, he's not going to come out and say, well, actually, yes, we are drug mules, of course. But, I just don't know if they're drug mules or not. And so I would not say it. Let's put it that way. Unless I know for sure that it's true, you won't hear me saying that they're drug mules. Now, they've got a little map here. Let's have a look at the map again, because it's always interesting to look at. This was Playa de las Americanas, where the festival was. This, of course, he went all the way up there back to this Airbnb. That's the mystery for me, is why did he go back there? And then he disappeared into this Parque Rural, thinking he could walk. He didn't wait for the bus. That's the other mystery. Why didn't wait for the bus? Why didn't he go back to the Airbnb? But he might well have been. If I put myself in his shoes, and you thought they were asleep, and you thought you couldn't get in, maybe. But I would have gone to the cafeteria. I think maybe not when I was his age, though. The thing is, we're all thinking with adult heads on. And we're thinking with heads that haven't been to a 3-day festival, probably taken drugs and probably drank alcohol. We're not thinking with that head on, are we? So, of course, it's always possible. Another possibility that I think is not likely, but a possibility, is was he picked up? Was he hitchhiking? And did he get picked up by the wrong person? That's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? Somebody picked him up and some foul play came to him that way. That's always a possibility. But we don't know. So my point that I'm trying to make here is we don't know his friends are drug mules. So I'm not going to say that they're drugs mules. All I'm going to say is that's what a lot of people are saying they are. But I have no idea. And to be honest, the only thing I've seen of Brad, that interview with Isla Traquair, I thought he seemed just like a perfectly normal daft teenager from Oswald's Whistle. I didn't think there was anything sinister about him, anything strange about him, so that's my opinion as far as that's concerned. But I could be proven wrong as time goes on. Maybe Brad is the mastermind behind the whole thing, like some fools say. Okay, so that's all really we know about Jay at the moment. So hopefully the search teams that are going out, I hope that Jay's mum finds the right search teams to use, search teams with experience in that area. That the hiking group, that's, I've said a few times, that's exactly what I would be going to, the hiking groups. To the hiking, any hiking group that's on Tenerife, not even necessarily for there. And if you've got all that money that you could pay them to come and do a couple of days of intensive searching, that's what I'd be doing, definitely. Okay, I wouldn't be paying people like Callum. The only photos I've seen of Callum searching didn't look like he was searching. He was supposed to have a group with him, but I didn't see him with a group. But I could be wrong again. So just my hypothesis, my hippopotamus on this whole sorry subject is still that Jay is somewhere out there in that park. Now, I just want to tell you about another mystery. So what we've got to be careful of now is, because of Michael Mosley and now because of Jay, anytime any tourist goes missing in Spain or any other touristy place, Greece, etc., Turkey, there's going to be massive media attention on it, because the media realise that this is a hot potato at the moment. It's a hot news story, and if they're going to bring in any other story that they think might be relevant. And of course, similar to me, I'm going to show you this because I think you'll be interested in it because of what's happened to Jay. So there's this other tourist. Let me just. This is the guy. He's gone missing. Sorry, not gone missing. He dropped dead in Magaluf. Michael Grant, 45 years old, a 45-year-old Irish tourist. But he was on holiday with his wife and children. But he was out at night. There's traces of cocaine in his system. So, we don't know what happened to him. Personally, I think he's probably overdone it. So the reason why I'm really showing you this and why we're going to talk about this is I had a neighbour who went on holiday to the Canaries, and we live in Spain. He's older than this guy, was in his 60s, went on holiday to some Canary Island. I think it might have been Magaluf, actually, where he went. Though Magaluf's not Canary Island, is it? Magaluf is where is Magaluf? It's on one of the islands, isn't it? It's not on mainland Spain. Anyway, he just dropped dead on the street. He literally just was walking down the street with his little girl. He had a young child, and he just literally dropped dead of a heart attack. So I think that, you know, why he went to Magaluf or wherever it was, I can't remember exactly where it was, why he would go in July or August somewhere hot when you live in Spain, beyond me, because if I go on holiday in July or August, you can bet I won't be going to Magaluf, won't go to Tenerife, I won't be going anywhere hot. I'd rather go to Iceland, you know, because I've got enough heat here, thank you. I don't need to go away on holiday and spend loads of money to go somewhere hot. But this guy, that's exactly what happened to him. He just dropped dead. His daughter was taken off and put into care over on the island, and until they could find a home for her. It was awful, you know, and he didn't, there was nothing, he wasn't murdered, he just had a heart attack. So this may be what happened to this guy, but let's have a look. So let's have a look at the story of it first. So he's been out drinking in the day. So don't forget, that's a long time if you're drinking day and then going out at night. Now, this guy's a football trainer. So you'd think he was quite fit and everything, but if he'd been taking cocaine and, you know, you just don't know. A heart attack is always waiting to happen. Sometimes people know they've got a problem with their heart, so they're on medication, so they take things easy. They get early warning signs. Some people don't get an early warning sign. It's just oomph, like that, you're gone. And that may well have been what happened to him. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing.
Had leg injuries consistent with perhaps.
So I'm going to have to go back to the start of this story now. So so this guy, he was there. He was in Magaluf on holiday with his wife and family. He'd been out drinking in the day, and then somehow in the night time he got separated from everybody, and he just dropped dead. But now what they're saying, it's a mystery, because at first they thought he may have had a heart attack, but now they think that it's more suspicious because he had bite marks, and he also had injuries where it looked like he might have been run over by a car. So let's see what this guy says.
Perhaps being hit by a car. Now, following on from that, local police are waiting to carry out a full autopsy examination on his body before deciding where to go next with this investigation. Well, Michael was a 45-year-old father of four, married father of four. He came from the Waterford city, which is in Ireland's southeast.
Now, just to say, for the autopsy has been done, and the autopsy found that he did have marks on him, bite marks on him, and he did have marks that looked like he may have been hit by a car, but they weren't what killed him.
He was a physiotherapist, and he was also heavily involved in the local underage or junior soccer club called St. Joseph's. Now, they have paid tribute to him today on their social media channels and described him as a very popular and well-liked member of their junior coaching staff. And this incident seems to have hit them all quite badly. There's been heavy tribute been paid of him over the last day or two, and he seems to have been a very popular figure.
Now, the thing is, he's a very popular figure, but he did have traces of cocaine in his system. So, you know, he's not an innocent either. He'd obviously been burning the candle at both ends. And just because he was a popular football coach doesn't mean to say he wasn't involved in drugs in some way, just as people speculate that Jay may have been involved in drugs. And this is based on evidence. He did have traces of cocaine in his system. So that's not a speculation. He had been taking cocaine at some point. But I just want to, something that I was saying earlier, but I'm going to probably edit that out of the video. So I just wanted to say about a neighbour of mine who was in one of the islands in Spain on holiday a while ago now, quite a few years ago now, but he just dropped dead on the street of a heart attack. He was older, he was in his 60s. Nobody knew that he had a bad heart or whatever, but you cannot underestimate, if he'd been out drinking all day, how dehydrated he'd be. If he'd taken cocaine, how stimulated his heart would be with the heat, with everything else. I don't know if he smoked or whatever. You cannot do these things. Even young people can't do them. There was young people are always collapsing with alcohol poisoning or whatever. It's and as you get older, you definitely can't do it, and you definitely can't do it in the heat.
And this has come as a huge shock to everybody down there. Initially, local police were saying that they felt that he collapsed and it was merely a heart attack. Now, of course, the subsequent investigations suggest that this wasn't the case, and they have said that the autopsy will be crucial to determining.
Can you imagine what these Spanish police have to put up with? It's like Manchester on a Saturday night, isn't it? Just a load of people out there getting really drunk, causing trouble. The Guardia Civil, they have a lot to contend with. I don't like people bashing the police all the time. You imagine, they're trying to keep you safe. Do you think they like going out and dealing with drunks and people who are, off their head on drugs? They don't want to do that. Sure, they're more, they prefer to be at home with their family, but they have to go out and keep people under control so that other people aren't at risk.
What does happen next, but they are certainly concerned about certain injuries that are on his body, which might not be consistent with a heart attack. They will be talking to businesses, local business in the Magaluf area. They'll be trying to get some CCTV together to see who Michael might have been in contact with in the moments prior to him collapsing at the side of the street in the early hours of yesterday morning.
I was very concerned that it appears law enforcement have followed one or two avenues already, working on differing theories, as opposed to what British detectives should do.
I'm going off Peter Blake's all the time. He's jumping on this bandwagon, criticising the Spanish police. British police are brilliant, or he normally is on there saying British police are rubbish. It's whatever suits them, what they're saying. The Spanish police will have done whatever they've had to do. They won't just have said, it's accidental death before the autopsy. Now, they have established that there are bite marks on his body, and he does have some injuries that could have been to do with being run over a car, but they have established that these injuries are not what killed him. So I don't know what the cause of death is. Might come up in the next article I'm going to look at. I'm starting to go off, Peter, which is a shame because I always quite liked him.
Which is, in a case like this, which is unexplained, there are suspicious circumstances. The motto is, think murder until proven otherwise.
Yeah, but they didn't do that with Nicola Bulley's case, did they? And they didn't do that with Evelina Sassak. And there's a million cases they don't do that in Britain. So I'm not saying Spanish police are brilliant. What I'm saying is they're just the same as any other police. There's no point in saying that British police would have done it brilliantly and the Spanish police are crap. Sometimes the British police do things wrong. I'm sure sometimes the Spanish police do things wrong. But jumping on this sort of xenophobic bandwagon that only the British police can, solve a case is ridiculous.
So throughout everything you do, just treat it as though this is a murder inquiry. So you deploy the necessary resources. You have the huge amount of inquiries conducted. You, of course, have a post-mortem. Yeah, this case just smacks of that. Think murder until proven otherwise. There are so many red flags from what we've heard. Bite marks, apparently another wound that may have glass in it, injuries to his legs that may or may not be consistent by being hit by a vehicle,
I mean, it's true. There are, you know, but they are doing all those things post-mortem, etc. Thing is, you have to remember, bite marks could be a fight, couldn't it? You know, people do get in fights when they're drunk. Anyway, time will tell.
There are so many question marks thrown up here that are absolutely shouting from the rooftops. Deal with this like a murder inquiry. Get the necessary resources on board. Carry out all the necessary inquiries, get the post-mortem done, CCTV, house to house, preserve the scene as well. What do we know? Where did it happen? Are there any forensic opportunities? This is 2024. Forensic.
How does he even know that they haven't done all that, though? You know, he's like all these cases that they're all talking about on like The Sun and Talk TV and GB News. They're all talking about, oh, why haven't they done this and why haven't they done that? Just because the police haven't told them if they've done it or not. They don't know what the police have done or what they haven't done because the police don't speak about it. So they're just making it up.
Evidence is crucial in so many cases. I just sincerely hope that the Civil Guard haven't dropped their guard, so to speak, here, and missed opportunities, because any wise, pragmatic detective will tell you when it comes to forensic opportunities, you only...
God, I've been to Magaluf twice. I went the first time, I think that was my very first time on a plane. I was about 17. I only went for the weekend. It was off season. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I had a brilliant time. The second time I went in August with a friend of mine on one of those 18 to 30s holidays. I was only about 18. I hated every minute of it. That is my worst nightmare. All those people, all drunk. And I was 18 then, and I liked to drink. It's not that I don't like a drink and I didn't like to party. I did. But it was my worst nightmare. Honest God, it was awful. I hated every minute of it. It was too hot. There was too many people. Everyone was so drunk and doing stupid things. You know, I just hated every minute of it. But, you know, a lot of young people like it, I suppose. Luckily, I'm too old to go on an 18 to 30s holiday now. And my God, I wouldn't go on one if you paid me £1 million.
You get one chance to get it right. I've spent a lot of time down in that part of Spain. And let me tell you, all the devils are there. Organised crime from around Europe and beyond, particularly unpleasant, vicious, wicked criminals.
There are a lot of criminals in Spain. I'll agree with him that they don't call it the Costa del Crime for nothing. You know, a lot of criminals come to Spain. It's like the reverse of the immigrants that everybody moans about going to Britain. Spain has to put up with all these horrible immigrants going, criminal immigrants going through to Spain.
Like everywhere else, it's got a sex industry. It's got a rampant drugs industry. There is an undercurrent of violence amongst all of the serious and organised crime out there. And tourists are so often blind to it, because if you don't see it and you don't know how to recognise it, then it won't stand out to you.
No, it's true. It's what I've said to you, isn't it? Going away with your holiday head on. You know, you must never think that just because you're on holiday, there's not bad things that can happen, unfortunately. So you've got to be vigilant. You've got to be careful. But also not only respecting like the environment in that sense, you know, of being careful, you've got to respect the sun. I don't mean this sun. I mean the sun. You've got to respect the climate. You've got to realise it's not like the UK. You know, you can't be drinking all day and, you know, this lying on the beach and you're not going to get burnt to a frazzle. Of course you're going to get burnt to a frazzle, and you're going to be ill. You know, if you're drinking in the sun, you know, no sunscreen, no hat, no protection, you're going to be ill. You're going to get ill.
An innocent person going on holiday with their family who hasn't spent their life fighting crime, looking for bad people, might not see what is actually on their doorstep. If you have seen, or you think you saw or heard or witnessed anything that may be suspicious, then go to the Guardia Civil website and see if they've already put up appeal notices. and if there's a way in which you can contact them. If not, go to the Garda Síochána in Ireland, get onto their website, tell them what you know, because I'm sure in circumstances as suspicious as this, the guards are going to want to put a family liaison officer in place to speak to the Guardia Civil and help the family, who must, of course, be having the most traumatic time.
Yeah, must be awful for the family. Anyway, that's the end of that. Let's have a look at this. So this is the Mallorca Daily Bulletin. They can't spell Magaluf. It's not got 2 L's in it. Death of Irish tourist in Magaluf was not as a result of being run over. So this is after the post-mortem. Michael Grant was on holiday with his wife and 4 children. So the death in Magaluf on Monday, what did you spell Magaluf wrong? Of 45-year-old Irish tourist Michael Grant remains a mystery. Now, you'd think the Mallorca Daily Bulletin would know how to spell Magaluf, wouldn't you? Anyway, the autopsy on Tuesday ruled out that he died as a result of being hit by a car. Death was not due to cranial trauma, which is usual when there is a fatal accident. Nevertheless, the autopsy findings are not definitive. Samples have been sent to a laboratory on the mainland and the results will not be known for a few days. In addition, saliva samples were taken from 2 bite marks on his body, one on a shoulder blade, the other on the upper part of his chest. That's strange, isn't it? Now, they just say bite marks, but is that a dog bite mark or a human bite mark? Or is it a mosquito bite? I mean, there's lots of different bites it could be. Doesn't actually specify, is it a bite from a person, a dog, or a mosquito? Anyway, the Guardia Civil's judicial police were continuing with a homicide line of investigation. They're saying here that they are treating it as a homicide. Hope that DNA may identify who caused these. So there must be people bites then, while they're seeking to establish whether the apparent attacker was the driver who ran him off or not. Odd, isn't it? I mean, it is very odd. They're also waiting to discover if traces of cocaine found in his body were in any way linked to his death. The drug had been consumed some 48 hours before the incident at around 4:30 on Monday. Michael was on holiday with his wife Leanne and their 4 children, not 2 as previously reported. The hotel wristband that he was wearing, and which enabled police to locate the family, was for the Seoul Kathmandu Park Hotel. That's it. So this, according to this article, it is a homicide investigation. Yeah, the Guardia Civil have launched a homicide investigation into the death of the 45-year-old tourist whose body was found on Monday. So his wounds are consistent with being run over, in addition to bite marks on his body and a cut wound made with glass. Ooh. So they're searching images from security cameras in the area for the search for the driver and seeking to establish if this would be the same person who caused the other injuries. These indicate there'd been a confrontation at some point. Okay, so I thought I'd tell you about that story because, well, it's a mystery for a start, so we want to know what happened. And also because, as I say, I think we will find now there'll be a spate of stories, if you like, or a spate of news stories from abroad because of Jay Slater and because of Michael Mosley. You know, they're definitely going to be any case. I mean, there's probably every year, I expect there'll be, you know, somebody will die abroad on holiday. At least one person, if not many people. You know, there'll be fights, there'll be drinking, there'll be drugs, etc. But I think we're going to, you know, really get to hear about them this year because of the high-profile stories that we've already heard about. So sad, very sad. I should put a picture of him up. So yeah, condolences to his family. Rest in peace. I hope the truth comes out one way or the other for him, as well as for Jay, that we're waiting for news on. This is that picture that Lucy released yesterday of her and Jay together. Now, before I go off, as usual, I'm going to just I'm just going to show you my video of my book, Confessions. If you want to know more about me as a person, have a look at this video. And I'm just going to look just to check there's no more news of Jay before I go off. Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie. Did you ever want to know a little bit more about me and my background, how I came to become interested in true crime, how I ended up in Spain being a Spanish teacher? If you want to know a little bit about me, a little bit more about me as a person, you can find my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, on any Amazon site, wherever you live in the world. And I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and this is my story. So it's the story of how I grew up in Manchester in the UK on a council estate.